Anything and everything you do should be followed through in an organized way, if not the ideal, in order to steer clear of disappointment and ensure that you reap the desired results without fail. Therefore, every task or activity that you volunteer for or is assigned to you should incorporate certain processes from the very beginning till the end so that you accomplish the broader aims and objectives. If you falter or fail to deliver at any stage of such a process, then you might be risking the successful achievement of said goals. Thus, it is very important for you to devise and follow through all the stages of the process in the appropriate way. This holds great significance, especially in an organizational setting, where several activities and tasks demand accurate and rigorous fulfillment from your part to avoid incurring additional expenses. And that's exactly why we are here to unfold the mystery of process management and help you ensure maximum efficiency and effectiveness regardless of the domain you specialize in. So without further ado, let's get started with yet another fun session.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new update or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on this video any queries or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.
Hello friends, welcome to this course on process management. So how many of you here are actually aware of process management? Maybe you have heard of the terms product management, project management, and several other management terms, right? So have you ever come across this particular management scheme that is nothing but process management? I am sure that some of you might have heard about process management. At the same time, there will be more number of people who actually have no idea on what exactly is process management. So don't worry, I am here to help you understand more deeply on process management. What is process management and what is the benefits and why should we actually learn more about process management? Let me start off by giving you a brief example, a simple example, so that you will be able to understand what is process management or what is the need for process management. Okay, so imagine anything. I'm asking you to imagine anything which you are doing on a day-to-day basis. Let it be cooking, let it be driving, let it be washing clothes, let it be anything. Let it be anything official or professional or anything of personal sort. So no matter what, whatever you're doing, so I hope you have actually thought about something in your mind. So now, just imagine how would you be implementing those tasks. So would it be done in one single go? Or are there certain things to be followed in order to implement all those things in the right way, in the proper way, so that you will be able to get the right output by doing that? Okay? So are you able to imagine how you will be able to implement and what are the processes, what are the steps you should be doing? So for example, if you are cooking, you need to be making sure that you are having the proper utensils. You need to be making sure that you are knowing the recipe or how to prepare on those particular dishes, right? And in order to have that particular thing implemented, you also need to have all the ingredients. Let it be spices, let it be flour, let it be any other vegetable oil, or let it be anything. Irrespective of whatever you're making, you need to be having all the ingredients which you should be having with you to make that particular item, right? So in order to get all these things done, you need to be following a process. So maybe first you should be heating the oil with the pan, and then you should be putting in the first ingredient, then you should be stirring it here and there, and then you should be following the next ingredient. So irrespective of whatever you're doing, right? So if you're actually trying to make something, you should be following that particular recipe. So for example, if you're actually trying to make biryani, simply having rice, or if you are making chicken biryani, rice and chicken, right? Simply having rice and chicken would not be getting you biryani. You need to be working on that. You need to be mixing things. You should be actually doing all the procedures and processes in the right way possible to get that particular item done or ready, so that, in the lunchtime or the dinner time, you are actually having this particular biryani ready for you to have it. So each and everything which you are doing, let it be any task, let it be any chores, let it be anything, each and every task needs to be done in a certain procedure, right? there are all several processes to be followed in such a manner that you will be able to get the best output by doing the particular things in the right manner. That is all about process management. And especially when you come to organizational point of view, there are a lot of tasks which is to be implemented in each of the organization. Let it be operations, let it be sales, let it be hiring new candidates, let it be interviewing new candidates, let it be making the number of customer services, getting the feedback from the customers, let it be anything. There are a lot of functionalities and operations which is to be performed in an organization's point of view. So when they are doing it, they need to be making sure that whatever they are doing, whatever the employees of that particular organization is doing, should be done in the right way. And for that to happen, there should be certain rules, regulations, and certain procedures to be followed, right? Only then they'll be able to make sure whatever they are doing are actually coming into the effect in the right possible way. So that is the main reason why this particular term or this particular management scheme is introduced, which is nothing but process management. And that is exactly what we'll be covering in this particular course, which is nothing but process management. Now, since we are having a brief idea on what exactly is process management, now is the time for us to understand what are the various topics that we'll be covering in this particular course on process management. So don't you want to know what are the things that we are going to be learning right now? Yes, that is exactly what we are going into. So coming to the agenda part. So the first module or the first topic that we will be covering in this particular course on process management is nothing but what is a process. So in order to understand what is process management, you should be knowing what is a process first. Only by understanding what is a process, then only you will be able to more clearly understand what is process management. If you don't know what is process, how will you be able to manage a process? Right? So simple as that. So initially we'll be starting off by understanding what is a process. Then we'll be moving on to understand what is process management. So by now we know what a process is, and we already have a brief idea on what is process management. And now the second topic for this particular course, we'll be covering on what is process management on a deeper view, so that it will be completely clear for you, so that there will be no doubt pertaining on that. And next, after completely understanding on what is process management, we'll be moving on to understand what is the importance of process management. So if you're actually following process management, we should be actually getting some benefit out of it. Simply, we'll not be following anything, right? So would you be keeping any rules or regulations if it is of no use? All the rules, all the procedures, all the regulations, and all the certifications of the licenses are being kept or being enabled because it is of some importance. It is always necessary to follow these rules. So only then they'll be keeping rules. Right? If there is no use of following the rules, then what is the need for the particular rule, right? So there is no point in keeping that particular rule. So if we are following process management, what is the actual reason behind it? So that is exactly what we will be looking into in this particular module on importance of process management. Then we'll be moving on to understand how to implement process management. What are the several ways to implement this? So simply by understanding or learning or having an idea on what exactly is process management is not enough. It is always good to understand, only then you will be able to implement it in the right way. So it is always important for you to understand. But just by understanding, you will not be able to get benefit out of it. You should be knowing how you will be able to implement, how you will be able to apply, how you will be able to bring in benefits, or how you will be able to bring maximum out of by following process management. Right? So you need to be understanding what are the right ways for you to implement process management. So that is exactly what we'll be covering in this particular module on how to implement process management. So right after completing on this particular module, we'll be going to our next topic, which is nothing but best practices to follow in process management. What are the best practices? What are the several practices in the first case? And also what are the best practices that we'll be able to follow? If there is any particular strategy, if there is actually something which we'll be able to incorporate to ensure that process management is done in the right way and in the most effective and efficient way. If there are already pre-written things for us to follow, then what is the point of us looking into what is to be implemented, right? So here are few best practices for you to follow in process management. Then we'll be looking on to understand benefits. What are the benefits of process management? What is the need for us to follow process management? What are the advantages that we will be getting by following process management? So all these things we'll be completely having a clear idea on this by looking into the various benefits that we are getting by following process management. Then we'll be coming to our second last topic for this particular course in process management, which is nothing but how to improve process management. So we all know that we are not completely perfect all the time. There's always scope for improvement. So if you think that you're perfect, you are wrong. So there's always scope for improvement, and if you're actually following continuous improvement, trust me, you are going to be getting into greater heights. So you should be making sure that you are updated and you are up to the particular point of perfection. So that can be done only by following continuous improvement. And that's exactly what we'll be covering in how to improve process management. And finally, we'll be moving on to our last topic, which is nothing but process management mistakes. This is one majorly important topic for each one of us to understand on, because we are prone to make mistakes. We will be making mistakes, and by having mistakes or by making mistakes, we'll be learning out of it, right? Every mistake is learning for us. So why don't you just try to understand what are the various possible mistakes that you can be making, right? If you understand what are the various mistakes, you need not wait for you to create a particular mistake or do that particular mistake and then learn. So if you know what are the various mistakes that you can be doing, what are the probable mistakes that you might be following, so by knowing that, you can avoid the particular mistakes and learn more and implement more and get more results out of it. So basically, these are the various topics that we are having for you in this particular course on process management. And don't you want to know, and are you not excited to know more about all these particular various topics on process management? Yes. So I'm not going to keep you waiting for a long time, and now's the time for us to jump into each one of this particular topic and let us understand by starting off with what is a process. So friends, without wasting any time, let us move on to our very first topic, which is nothing but what is a process. So I've already mentioned what is the need for you to understand more on process before going into process management, which is nothing but because without understanding more on process, how will you be able to manage a process, right? So it is simple as that for you to understand what is the importance for us to learn more on the process. So here also, let me take the example of cooking. If you're actually cooking your favorite dish, let it be French fries. If you're actually trying to cook French fries, what is the initial things that you need to be following? You need to be making sure that all the ingredients are present. You're having the potato and all the ingredients, and also you are having all the utensils for cooking as well. So after making that clear, then you should be having the particular pan onto the stove and you should be heating the pan. And when the pan is hot, you will be pouring oil into it. And after the oil is also hot, you will be making sure that the chopped potatoes will be put into the pan with hot oil. And you should be making sure that the French fries are being made through that, and making sure that you're not over frying it, not over deep frying it, and also making sure that each and every side is being fried in the uniform manner, right? So these are the things that you should be taking care of, and you should be actually adding a pinch of salt to it as well. So these are the basic processes that you should be following in a process to make a French fries, right? So what if you are doing all these processes, okay, but you're not getting it right? So that is exactly why I am actually here talking about process management. There are certain things that you need to be keeping in mind while doing any process. So let us understand more on process. What is a process? So a process is a series of actions to be followed from the beginning to the end to achieve the desired output. So process is not just something which you do for a moment. It is actually something which you need to be following from the start to the end. Only then you'll be able to get your desired output. So for example, in the case of cooking your French fries, just by having the potato, pan, oil, and ingredients will not be making you French fries. you should be following all the process. So just by following the first process or the first step, that is for you to have all the ingredients and make sure you're having all these things, is not enough. You should be actually continuing the process till the end to achieve the final output or the desired output, which is nothing but French fries, right? So you need to be following each and everything in the desired order. There is nothing but it is a series of action. It is a series of action that you need to be following from the start to the end, so that you are being able to get the desired output without any flow. And the next point here is every organization undergoes several processes on a daily basis based on the business they are involved in. So since I've actually mentioned the example of potatoes or French fries, that doesn't mean that it is confined to cooking. Irrespective of whatever task which you are doing, it has been done through several processes, right? So wherever these tasks are to be implemented, there and all, we are actually implementing several processes as well. Especially when it is coming to organizational point of view, there are a lot of tasks to be done. There are hiring process, which I've already mentioned, like hiring process, sales, operations, other functionalities, and the other day-to-day business activities as well. So to make sure that everything is done in the right manner, you need to be following certain processes. And every organization, let it be any organization, I can assure you that every organization will be following certain processes to get all those things done in the right way. So I can assure you on that. So each and every organization which is working on any sector or any organizational category, it will be having some process which the company is actually following to make sure that they are actually getting the desired output. Next comes process guidelines are made mandatory to be followed by every organization to ensure all the procedures are happening in a uniform manner. So as I've already said, you will not be making rules for no reasons. So if you're actually having certain rules and regulations to be followed, it is actually having some impact, or there is actually something behind all these rules, right? So simply you'll not be having rules. Similar to that, here also certain guidelines are kept for you to follow your process. This is because all the things which are happening in a company, which is done by a lot of employees, if all these things are done by an individual manner or in a unique manner by each of the employees, it will be difficult to collaborate and also difficult for the company to function as a whole, because one person is doing this process in this way and person B is actually doing it another way. So it will not be able to collaborate, it will not be able to function in the right way because everyone is doing same task in different ways. So there is no uniformity. So that can be avoided by following the guidelines which is put forward by your organizations. Let it be any process, there will be certain guidelines to be followed, right? So it is always important for you to follow certain guidelines which the company has already put forward. Then comes following a certain prescribed process helps to maintain the desired level of quality and standard on their outputs. So it is actually always like that, right? So whenever you're actually trying to produce any product, you're actually aiming to get it in the maximum quality level. And even when you're actually advertising or marketing your products, you're actually making a promise to your customers saying that this particular product which you are making in your brand name is having high quality. It is actually having guarantee this year and warranty these many years, and it will be lasting for these many years. This is the lifetime guarantee and several other tasks as well, right? So based on that, you're actually giving them a promise. So in order to make that particular promise or keep that particular promise, you need to be making sure that the quality and the standards are maintained. So what can be done in order to maintain or make sure that you're actually meeting your standards, which you've actually promised to your customers by following certain processes, which the company is actually following, which the company has actually laid down to follow. And these are the various reasons why you should be following your process, which the company has already laid down, so that the company will be providing uniform products in uniform manner without any differences within the same product. And also they'll be able to get these particular products out in the desired level of quality as well. So now coming to our main topic, which is nothing but what is process management. And that's exactly this complete course is all about, right? So let us dive deeper without wasting any time on further ado. So let us understand what is process management. So process management is a discipline that works in defining, analyzing, monitoring, controlling, and optimizing the process which are being carried out within the organization. So there are a lot of processes and tasks which are being implemented or followed in each and every organization on daily basis. Multiple tasks, multiple processes, multiple departments, and multiple activities which are being carried out, right? So to name some examples, I gave you some, right? Like hiring, interviewing, operations, functionality, sales, service, and many more. So depending upon the category of business you are into, the business activities and the tasks and the process will also be changing. And here, process management, it is actually a discipline which encompasses on the analyzing, defining, monitoring, controlling, and also optimizing. So the word optimizing plays a major role here. So anything and everything can be done in any manner. But when you're able to optimize it to the best possible way, you are able to benefit out of it maximum. And the kind of profit, the kind of margin, the kind of expenses, the kind of revenue, and the kind of transactions which you are able to incorporate by following certain process would be benefiting you on a huge scale. So if you are able to get something out by following some optimized strategy, then sometimes you will be able to deliver these kind of products to the customers at a cheaper rate with higher quality, and more number of people will be able to afford it. So these are various examples which I have put forward for you to understand on the importance or what is the need for process management. So here we try to control every process, monitor every process, and also define and analyze what are the troubles, what are the issues which we are coming across within the organization when we're actually going through certain tasks, certain processes. There are always scope for issues, right? And it is all about monitoring, controlling, analyzing, and defining, and coming up with new ways and new methodologies to get it more perfect. Process management is all about mapping the process happening within the organization to achieve the organization's goal. So maybe this is the level which you are in right now, and this is what you're actually planning for. This is your goal. So in between, there may be several process tasks and all several stages, right? So it is not just one way, just not just one step that will take you from this position to the goal which you're actually aiming for. So you need to be going to several processes here and there, several tasks and several activities that you need to be following. So process management is all about mapping all of those things. So maybe all these activities, all these tasks are being mapped to this particular level so that you are able to achieve your goal. So it's actually a kind of mapping process which you will be able to relate more easily, right? So all the process, all the activities, all the tasks which you are being able to do are to be done in the right and proper way. So here, process management helps you to understand and also eliminate all the activities which need not be done. At the same time, having importance on the activities which is to be done. And thereby, you are able to achieve the organizational goal in a much more efficient way as well. Designing, implementation of new process, manufacturing, and all the tasks which are associated can be followed through several processes. So it is not just with one go that you're achieving anything. Let it be designing. You need to be coming up with one design, then you need to be having the approval, then you'll be getting the feedback, then you need to be reworking on the particular design. And then once the design is approved, it is to be done for testing, it will be done for manufacturing, and then one particular prototype is made, and then testing will be made on that. And based on the analysis and based on the findings from that particular prototype and testing, you'll be getting back the particular feedback. What are the drawbacks? What are the flaws? What are the good points that you have noted there? And also what can be improved? Then you will be reworking on that. So it is not just by following one step that you will be achieving something out of it. So you need to be following certain process, certain tasks. So it is all about process management. So let it be designing, let it be manufacturing, let it be managing a process, let it be any activity. So it is all being done by following several processes, and thereby it is also important for you to follow process management because there is nothing which is done with a single step. Process management is a combined working of people, policies, and technology to achieve the desired level of excellence. So only when you're able to achieve the desired level of excellence, you are able to maintain the quality of the brand and also the brand value as well. And only then people will be coming to buy your product. So how can that be done? Through people, through policies, and also by implying various technologies. and various techniques as well. So you need to be having the people, the human resources, and also you should be having policies, procedures, rules, regulations, guidelines, and all the other procedures which are to be followed in a particular manner. So you should be having all the policies, and also should be having the latest and the renowned technology which is to be implemented for you to make the particular product out. And these are all done through various processes, and you need to be having, or you need to be controlling, or you need to be managing it in the right way, so that you will be able to get maximum out of each and every process which you are carrying forward to get a final output. So moving on to our very next topic, which is nothing but importance of process management. Here, in importance of process management, we'll be understanding, or we'll be having more clarity on what is the need for us to follow or to implement process management. So that's exactly what we'll be covering in this particular module. Let's dive on to this particular thing. So the first point which I have for you in importance of process management is nothing but it maximizes the resources and minimizes the expenses. So in order to run business or in order to run a manufacturing process or plant, you will be incurring a lot of expenses in order for the maintenance, for the power supply, labor charges, and also for many other tasks as well. So you are actually having a lot of investments actually, right? So in order to have this particular resources in converted to the final product, you need to be spending many number of money. So, and you're actually trying to get more output from it as well. So if you're actually spending more and getting less out of it, there's actually something wrong with it. Maybe the business model is not working out properly. Maybe this is not a business which is going to be bringing profit for any organization. So if that is the case, you won't be starting this particular business. So let us eliminate that particular option. The next would be nothing but you're actually not running the business in the right way, because you're actually having more expenditure and the kind of benefit you're getting out of it is actually minimal. And when compared to the expense, you're actually not getting any benefit at all. So by following process management, you'll be able to minimize your expenses and also maximize your profit. How can that be done? So while implementing process management, it is actually having complete clarity, complete control, and we're continuously monitoring all the activities which are being taking place, so that we'll be able to understand where is the cost coming in, where is the unnecessary cost coming in. So where are the expenses that we are incurring in the particular manufacturing process, and where is it actually lagging behind, and where is the expense coming from maximum? What is the proportionality in which we're actually distributing our expenses? So we'll be able to get a clear clarity on this. And while getting or by getting this particular knowledge on where are you spending more and how you can able to minimize that particular expenditure, then you'll be able to come out with an alternative solution for that. And then that particular expenditure can be avoided, and then your expenses minimized, the quality of the process has been increased, and also you are getting more profit because of increased quality. So that is the one main point that I have here to cover for you. Next comes enhanced visibility and control over the business. So in order to have this particular point, to have complete clarity, vision, and control over your business is not so simple to have. So maybe you are the owner of your business and you will not be incurring or you will not be involving in all the activities, process, team meetings, and all the necessary procedures, right? You will not be indulging in anything. You will be in the top position managing and controlling. So if you need to manage and control your business in the more effective and efficient way possible, you need to be having control and you need to be having the particular clear clarity on the vision of the particular things which are being implemented in or within your organization. And how can that be done? That can be done or that can be attained by following process management. And this is not a small thing to have. Every business owner or every entrepreneur would want to have clear clarity and transparency in what are the things that is being implemented, so that he's having awareness, he's having complete control, and he also knows what exactly is happening within the organization, so that he can also interfere and he can also offer some opinions or suggestions to improve the condition or the working environment which he is having right now within the organization. So that is also one thing we'll be able to get benefit out of by following process management. which is nothing but more visibility and control. Next comes eliminates the operational defects and improves productivity. So as we know, in process management, we'll be monitoring, we'll be analyzing, we'll be defining, and we'll be controlling and optimizing. So by following this particular thing, and process management team is completely dedicated to make sure that there is no defect, there is no a problem or errors which has been happening to any of the production units, or as well as the outputs or the products which they're actually making. And even if they see one particular product is of defect, then they'd be completely removing that particular product in the initial stage itself, which caused the particular error, so that the same product which is damaged will not be moving for the next process and it will not be processed further. And there you will be able to save time, effort, and in that position you will be able to replace it with a completely okay product, so that you will be able to get a completely finished product with high quality, and you will not be wasting any time, effort, and money as well. So that by following process management, you'll also be able to eliminate error, mistakes, and also condition in a best productive way possible. Then comes enables to make informed decision. So isn't that actually an important thing to do? Whenever you are taking any decision, it can be right or wrong. So we are taking a decision thinking that it is right, high probable decisions, right? So how can that be taken? It can be taken only by having information. It can be done only by doing your research. It can be done only by knowing what is actually happening in the market. So you should be knowing each and everything related to your business which you are doing. So by engaging your specific team for process management, this can be achieved very easily. You will be updated, you will be along with the market trend, you know what is the current trend, and you'll also know what is the updated technology as well, so that you will be able to work efficiently and effectively, and also you'll be able to take informed decision, so that whatever decision you are making is not a flop. It is going to be benefiting for your company when you are actually making an informed decision. And the final point which I have for you is nothing but ensures smooth workflow. Isn't that actually something which is important? Smooth workflow, no errors, no damages, everything is functioning in the proper way. There is no confusion, there is no problem within your workstation itself. Everything is happening actually how it is supposed to be doing. Smooth functioning of all the processes, all the activities, all the tasks is going to be enabled by following process management. Next comes implementations. How to implement process management. So just by knowing process management, and these are the benefits, and these are the importance, and these are the processes, it's not enough. Actually learning is not actually of no value if you're not implementing it, if you're not applying it. So we need to know how to apply, right? So that's exactly we are going to be covering right now in this particular module on how to implement process management. So the various steps which I have put forward for you to implement process management is nothing but regularly analyze the procedures, set objectives for improvement, stay updated on the market trends, employ updated softwares, and also follow the best strategies and practices for you to follow to bring in more benefits. So starting off with the first point, regularly analyze the procedures. So in process management, as it is obvious, we are having a dedicated team for process management, managing the process, identifying, defining, monitoring, controlling, and optimizing, right? So these are the various tasks involved in process management. So in the dedicated team, people are employed to analyze the procedures, what's exactly happening, and what are the things and what are the procedures that is being followed, and is it being followed? So analyzing on all those things plays a huge role. If you're not analyzing, and if you're not identifying, and if you're not controlling or having no control over the process management, then the things might be going wrong, and it has already been gone wrong sometimes. So in order to avoid all those things, we'll be able to analyze, and we will be able to know how is the function happening, and is it actually happening according to the procedures and on the guidelines which the company has put forward. So you will be knowing on each of these by regularly analyzing all the procedures and activities which is being taking place within your organization. Next comes set objectives for improvement. So right now you may be working optimally and efficiently, but that's not enough. As time passes, new technologies, new developments, new practices, and new things will be coming, right? So you need to be actually keeping updated depending upon the market. So you should actually keep on improving. If you're actually not following continuous improvement, you'll not be able to satisfy, or you'll not be able to have a role in the market. You will be outdated, you'll be thrown out of the market, and you'll not be having any value or any space in the market because your products or the services which you are providing no value and is creating no value to the customers as well who's actually using your products. So in order to avoid that, you should be continuously improving, working on the flows which you're actually having right now. And even if you're actually having no flows right now, it is not actually true. And even if you feel like that, in the future, you might be actually able to improve further based on the technologies and all the advancements which is going on in the market. Next comes stay updated on the market trends. What is the market trend going on? What is the market trend right now? And what are the strategies and what are the trends which other companies are following in your category? So having a thorough understanding on that and also knowing where the market is going, is there going to be high demand or is there going to be no demand? Will the supply be meeting the demands which the customers are having? These are all the various things that you should be keeping in mind. And by having a concentrated view on the market and also understanding where the market is going to be in the future, you'll be able to plan accordingly and also implement things so that you'll be able to meet the demands and you'll also be able to manage the production process so that you'll be not overloading or overstocking or over manufacturing. And at the same time, you'll also be not minimizing your manufacturing process from the minimum level which is required. So that is also one thing which is to be maintained. Next comes employ updated softwares. So technological advancement is something which you cannot avoid. Okay? Because technological updations and softwares and technologies is going to enhance the facilities and enhance the features and also going to enhance the way in which you're actually operating. So it actually gives you ease to operate. It actually gives you technological facilities to understand, analyze, and also get feedbacks from them and also to maintain and run the particular functionalities in a more efficient and frequent and easy manner. So it is always made mandatory for you to keep updated yourself on the technological part, the softwares which you're using, the current methodology which you're actually employing. So all those things need to be actually matching to the kind of scenario which you are working on. If you're actually working right now with outdated technology, you will be thrown out of the market very soon. So that should not be the case, so that you should be actually using all the technological advancements which is going on in the market, accommodate all those changes, and also evolve as time progresses. Next comes follow the best strategies and practices that you will be able to follow to bring in more result. So maybe you're actually given certain practices and strategies which used to be followed by several other companies which actually work for them. Sometimes following the same thing might be working for you. At the same time, it might not be working for you. So you need to be actually trying out on various strategies which you will be able to implement. And for you, maybe that will not be working. And by actually practicing several strategies and practices, you will be able to know which is the best strategy working for your company in your field, in the sector which you are actually working for. So you should be practicing, you should be trying different strategies, and also you should be actually leveraging on the strategies as well. So by following this, you will be able to implement the process management the most effective and efficient way possible. Now let us move on to our next particular topic for our course on process management, which is nothing but the best practices to follow in process management. So if we actually think about implementing process management, why don't we do it in the right way, right? So in order to get the maximum out of it, anyway, we are putting the effort which we actually need to put. So if we are actually concentrating on the right areas in the right manner, we'll be getting maximum out of it. So that is exactly what we will be benefiting by following the best practices. And let's see what are the various practices that will help us to get maximum by following process management. So the various practices which I have mentioned here are: choose the right process, choose the right tool, ensure clear establishment of roles, involving the team, training your workforce, finding scope for continuous improvement, and finally coming to having a backup plan. So if I start with the first topic or the first point in the best practices, which is nothing but choosing the right process. So in order to get one thing done, you can have several processes. So which is the right process which you should be following so that you will be getting the right output on the right time in the right quality which you actually decide for. So for example, if you need to move to Bangalore from Kolkata, so there are several ways, right? You can move by car, you can move by train, you can also take flight for the same, right? So even in the flight, you are having options to choose different airlines. Even in the train, if you're choosing a railway, there are different options for you. And even if you're actually using road transport, you're having bus, you can take your car, and there are other modes even in those specific categories itself. So choosing the right process is all about that. It is actually similar to that. If you're actually needing something to be done, there are various processes which are available to you in order to get that particular thing done. Here, we are much concentrated on how to get the right process, which is the process which we need to be implementing so that we are getting the right output in the right manner without compromising on the quality. At the same time, it is economical as well. So these are the things which we should be practicing. That is nothing but choosing the right process which ensures the quality and also maintains whatever is required to be maintained, at the same time financially feasible as well. Now coming to the next one, which is nothing but choosing the right tool. So tool is all about, it is not just specific to one particular tool which I have mentioned, like a spanner, screwdriver, or any other tool which is specific, right? It can be anything which is related to the process. So if your process is related to a different category and another process which is completely different from the other one, in that particular case, you will not be able to compare. But even then, you will be able to know which is the kind of tools which you should be involving. It can be a software, it can be in hardware, it can be an equipment, it can be anything. But involving the right set of tools and making sure you are able to provide quality items and you are not compromising on your standards. At the same time, it should be updated, it should be currently feasible with the present scenario, and it should not be outdated. So keeping all these things in mind, you should be choosing the right tool as well. Next comes ensuring clear establishment of roles. This is one main important point which I would like to convey to each one of you, because your team will be involving a lot of members, right? So each of those members or each of those people who are actually part of your team, who's actually working forward in order to get this particular thing done, should be made aware of what are the job roles, what are the expectations, or what are we expecting out of from them. And we should be actually explaining to them on their roles. What is their job role? What is their responsibility? What are the tasks they should be working on? And what is the kind of key performance that we are actually expecting out of them? We should be actually conveying all those things to our team members in the right time, in the proper way, so that they are having no confusion, they're having the right idea, and they're actually in the mindset to work towards the goal which you have actually planned for them. That is also one thing that should be followed while involving or while indulging in any of such practices. Then coming to involving the team. Whenever you are taking a decision, it is always better to involve the team. Ask them their suggestions. What do they feel about it? I am hereby not conveying that whenever you're talking to your team and whenever they are giving you any suggestion, you should be taking it. It is not like that. You can take their suggestion, you can take their opinion and have a wise decision on that. If they are actually having a better idea, it will be feasible for you as well. At the same time, if the idea or the options or the quality items which they are actually sharing with us as their feedback is not actually matching with our goal, then we can completely eliminate or completely ignore that as well. But it is always important to ask what they feel, their opinion, their feedback, and sometimes they'll also be able to give us more value addition in terms of decision making because they are directly involved in the procedures. Then comes training your workforce. It is completely important for you to have a well-trained and equipped workforce. Even if you're having a lot many number of laborers, but none of them is actually capable of doing the things well, there is no use of having any labor. It is as equivalent as not having any laborers, because if you're actually enabling them to work for you, if they're actually not aware of how to do, what to do, how to do, then they'll be actually doing the things in the wrong way, and you'll be even ending up in a much worse situation because you'll need to be working on the maintenance, you need to be repairing the items because the kind of effort and inputs which they have given while they are working on any machinery or equipment was wrong. And because of that, we had to spend more on the maintenance as well. So it is always better for you to train your workforce, keep them informed, give them training, and give them also being an expert in that particular field in which they're actually working for, because they are working for you. And if they're trained and well equipped and informed, they'll be able to perform well, and that is going to be directly involving or influencing your business as well. Then comes finding scope for continuous improvement. As I always say, there is always scope for improvement. No one is perfect. None of the organizations, none of the people are perfect. There are always scope for improvement. Maybe for the present time, you are actually okay, capable of the particular situation, and you're actually handling everything very well. But if you think that this is completely perfect and fine, but in the future, you will be outdated soon. Maybe the other company or the competitors will be working on their product, bringing in new features, and completely analyzing or absorbing or carrying forward with the current market trend. So then you will be outdated if you're actually sticking on to what you're actually doing right now. So it is always important for you to improve whatever you're providing in terms of quality, in terms of features, and in terms of durability as well. Then coming to the last one, which is nothing but having a backup plan. It is always important to have a backup plan as well. We can't assure on anything. We don't have a guarantee on anything. If something goes wrong, it goes wrong. We are humans and things can be going wrong. So if such cases happen, then what is the thing to be done? We should be having a backup plan. We should be in a position to take up action and move forward. Even if we are actually in the wrong position, we should be having the courage and the plan and the mindset to move forward in the right direction. It is always better to realize your mistake and move forward. At the same time, you should be learning from that as well. So you can be going wrong, you can be making mistakes. At the same time, you should be having a backup plan so that whenever you are actually coming across a situation where you're actually ended up in the wrong position, then you should be having an option to move forward in the right position and implement the business in the right way possible. So these are the various practices which will enable you to perform well in whatever business you are into by following process management. Now is the time for us to look at the various benefits that we'll be gaining by following process management. So we all know, if you're actually following something or implementing something, we are so certain that by following certain things, we are gaining something out of it. If not, there's no point in following certain things, right? So similarly, in process management as well, we will be gaining certain benefits or advantages that we are being getting by following process management. That is exactly what we are going to be looking at right now. So let's look on that. So these are the various points or the benefits that I have got for you on the advantages or the benefits that you are going to be gaining by following, or if you are following process management. Starting off with increased productivity. So by following product management, the one benefit that you are going to be benefiting is that you will be able to get increased productivity. If you are able to produce 100 units in 1 hour, maybe you will be able to produce 120 units in 1 hour. So that is actually 20% rise. This is just an example which I have put forward for you to understand. It may be 5%, it may be 4%, it may be any other person as well. So depending upon the efficiency and effectiveness which you are able to inculcate by incorporating process management, how much is the difference that you're getting? So based on that, you will be able to increase your productivity. And it is so certain that if you are able to implement process management effectively, you will be able to get increased productivity. Then comes address to new customer demands. That is also one of the most important criteria that we are able to fulfill if we follow process management, because the customer needs or customer requirements keep on changing as time progresses, and the market trend is also changing. So depending upon the various situations, various trends, the customer demands is going to be varying for sure. So when such change in the trend is happening, if you are able to inculcate that change in your production line, how soon are you able to inculcate that? How well efficient are you able to transfer the production line from one process to different process? How quickly are you able to do that? If you are able to do that, it is so certain that you are following process management and the kind of design and the kind of analysis that you have done while implementing that particular process is in such a manner that whenever the requirements or the demands are shifting, you are able to adapt to the requirement and adapt to the market trends, and you are able to bring in the necessary changes so that you will be able to satisfy the customer demands. So when you're able to satisfy the customer demands over a period of time, the customers will be knowing, the customers will be noticing that you are able to provide whatever they require whenever they require. So that is also one of the major benefits that you will be gaining by following process management. And then comes updation on the business model. So, for example, Bill Gates itself mentioned that if your business is not on the internet, then your business will not be lasting. So, previously in the last decade, we know that most of the business were run on physical stores. But right now, the scenario has completely changed. There is only few companies or few establishments which has not got its presence on the digital platform right now. That is the kind of transition which is being happening. The kind of business model, the kind of revenue that is they are creating, the kind of approach and the kind of business which they have been following have been changed drastically as time progresses. So you need to be keeping on updating. You need to be updating your business model, and you need to be following, or you need to be in the flow with the transition of the market. So if you're actually following process management, you'll be able to recognize what is the change going on. You will be able to adapt all those things, and you will be able to keep updated in the market. So what is the trend like? What is the current trend? And what is the changes that you need to be incorporating in your business model so that you don't run out of your business and you don't run out or you don't get outdated in the business market. So that is one of the major advantages that you will be getting by following process management as well. That is nothing but you will be able to get updating on your business model as well. Then comes interdepartment coordination. So interdepartmental coordination is also one major factor which drives the business of every company. Let it be any company or any business they are into. They need to be focusing on all the departments, because a company or an organization is not just comprising of one single department. It might be comprising of several other departments like HR, human resources, production, research and development, manufacturing, and also sales, strategy, and also various other departments as well, right? So only if all the particular departments which an organization is having is working effectively and efficiently, only then you will be able to get more business. And if that is not the case, there will be no point, because maybe one department is putting all the effort, but the other departments are not eager or are not conscious enough to work well in the right manner. If that is the case, there will be no progress in the business. Just consider if you are actually using a vehicle, or if you're driving a vehicle and only one wheel is putting all the effort and rest of the three wheels are not running at all, then would you be able to have a smooth journey ahead? No, right? No matter what. Until and unless all the four wheels are actually putting in all the effort in the same manner, only then the vehicle will be moving in the right direction or in the desired direction. So all the four wheels need to be working. So that is the case with every organization as well. If one department is just working, that is not enough, and that is not fair enough as well. So each department should be working, and smooth functioning of each of the departments can be done only by having interdepartment coordination. You should be transferring the information, getting the updation, and also letting them know what is the process and how is the process going on and what is the stage that they are in right now. So interdepartmental coordination is also one of the major benefits that you will be able to get by following process management. Next comes customer retention. If you are actually able to follow process management, you will be able to get a lot many benefits, which I've already mentioned. And one of the major benefits is also that you'll be able to retain your customers. Once your customers have been getting your service or your product, and the customers are actually liking your product, then it is so certain that they'll be coming again back to your source to get the service or the product which you are providing to them, because they actually like the product. They actually think that it is actually worth buying it, or it is actually of value of money. So if you're actually providing that particular quality, service, and also customer service, then you don't need to be worrying on. That is also one major factor that you will be able to get in, or you'll be able to grab. So that is one of the major advantage as well. Next comes eliminates delay in work. I've already mentioned that by following process management, you'll be able to work in increased productivity manner, right? So how can you get increased productivity? You'll be able to sort everything in the right manner so that whenever things need to be done in the right manner, it is actually being done. And if there is any issue, if there is any missing, or if there is any delay in the arrival of some raw materials, if there is any delay in the power supply, is there any fluctuating power supply, or depending upon any of these factors, if the works are getting delayed, then the kind of manufacturing process will be delayed, the number of units which is being manufactured will be going down, and hence you'll not be meeting your deadlines. You'll not be able to address to the requirements of your customers. When they demanded for it, you need to be in a position where you are actually able to satisfy that customer demand. If all these things are going wrong, and if there is a delay in the workstation, you'll not be able to satisfy any of these. So that is also one thing which you'll be able to eliminate here. You'll be able to eliminate delays in work. Then comes energy savings. It is so certain that if you are updating your materials, if you're actually updating your workstation, depending upon the various technologies available, the kind of facilities which you are able to provide, the kind of machinery and equipment, it is so certain that if you're updating on all these things, the kind of energy savings that you'll be able to attain, the kind of running time you'll be able to save, the kind of unnecessary cost which is being incurring to you, all that can be saved. All those can be eliminated so that you're saving your money, saving the energy, and also you'll be able to invest that amount of money into your business more so that you'll be able to get more profit, more revenue, and more transaction happening for your organization as well. Next comes improved safety. In process management, we go through each of the process. We monitor, we actually control. We also try to optimize the processes which are being happening. So while optimizing, we just simply don't optimize it for that we'll be able to get the product faster. It is not like that. We are so certain that the kind of products which we are getting is of high quality, and at the same time, we give important value or important key weightage for the safety of the customers as well. Not just for the customers, but also for the laborers who are actually working in the workstation in order to get that particular product ready. Safety is an issue, the kind of quality is an issue, and also if you're simply providing a quality product, stating that this is of high quality, this is of high safety standard, and all those things, and just after buying your product, if the customers are not happy or the customers are facing an issue with your product, it is talking about poor quality. No matter how much you try to market, no matter how much you try to increase your sales, the word of mouth strategy, which always works for the company, will not be working here because the customers are not satisfied. Next comes increased production quality. The kind of production which is being happening, the kind of mechanism and automation which you are able to incorporate here, and the kind of accuracy and precision which you are able to get in by accommodating automation and intelligence, you'll be able to get more quality and precision as well. So thereby itself, you'll be able to get more quality products, and also you'll be able to satisfy customers. Then comes reduced manufacturing costs. Here, when you're actually advancing in technology and inculcating all those things to your advantage, you're actually reducing the cost of manufacturing. Maybe the one-time investment or the initial investment would be more, but the kind of service, the kind of complaints, and the kind of maintenance that you would need to be doing each and every time would be minimized, because you're actually upgrading your products, upgrading your equipments, upgrading your machinery, and the kind of technology and the kind of facility that you're providing is of high standard, and the kind of complaints which you will be incurring and the kind of work loss or the kind of working delays that will be happening can be delayed, and it can be converted to high productivity as well. So all those things can also be attained by following production or process management. Then comes improved environmental condition, global warming, eco-friendly, and then comes improved environmental condition. Environmental condition is also one major factor which you should be considering while you are into any business or any organization, because that is of main concern or huge concern right now. The kind of safety issues, the kind of environmental impacts that is causing global warming, soil erosion, and the pollution which is being happening, all those is of high danger which we are causing or we are damaging ourselves. So all these things also need to be taken care of. And if you are getting updated on all these things, it is so certain that the government policies, rules, updations, regularity, license, and issuing, all those are matching. And if you're actually clearing all the issues or all the certifications which you need to be doing, you are on the safer side. No one can be complaining about your product, about the methodology which you're following, and the kind of business you're doing into, and also no harmful or effectiveness is being created to your customers, to your employees, to your laborers, at the same time, most importantly, to the nature as well. So these are the various benefits which I would like to convey to all of you guys on the basic advantages that you would be getting by following process management. And finally, we are actually in a position to understand how we'll be able to improve process management. Maybe you are into business, you are running an organization, and you may be an employee as well. So even then, if you're not employing process management, or if you're not having a dedicated team for process management, you would be thinking that you have not accommodated process management. That is not the case. In any organization, in any company, in any business, there are a lot of tasks, responsibilities, and activities that is to be taken care of on day-to-day basis. So if that things need to be done, we need to be managing it. We need to be having certain processes done. So even though you are not having a dedicated team and structured methodology to implement that, even then you are doing it in your own way. So even though you are not directly involved in process management, you are getting all these done in some way, right? Maybe not in the right way, but sometimes you are actually involving you or yourself or your team into process management as well. So maybe you're not doing it in the right way. Maybe you could have done it in a more effective way. So that is exactly what we are going to be seeing here. That is nothing but how to improve process management. So let's have a look on that. So the key points which I have got here for you guys on how to improve your process management are these many. First, starting off by engaging a structured methodology. You should be knowing what is the methodology, what is the process, what are the activities that needs to be done. How does it need to be done? What is the kind of priorities or what is the kind of prerequisites that you need to be following in order to achieve your goal? So you should be having a structured methodology. All the employees should be made aware of that. And you should be knowing that they're actually following or adhering to your guidelines which you have put forward. So in order to have all these things done or implemented in the right way, you need to be having a structured methodology. Only then the employees who are actually working for you will be able to work in the right manner because they should be informed. So only then you will be able to get maximum benefit. So the first thing which you should be having is a structured methodology. Next comes eliminate tasks which do not create value for the organization. These are all various simple points. Eliminate task which is not creating any value. This might be seeming simple for you, but that's not the case. Sometimes you are focusing too much on a particular process which is not creating any value to the product, to the service which you're providing, and completely to your organization as well. If that is the case, there is no point in actually conducting that particular process. So we should be identifying which all process which we are inculcating is creating value for our organization. And is it actually necessary? Is it required for us? And what are the benefits that we are getting by following that particular process? So by understanding and analyzing on each of the processes, we'll be able to understand which is the process that is creating value for us, which are the processes that we'll be able to eliminate. So if we are able to eliminate certain processes which we are conducting on day-to-day basis, we'll be able to save time, money, effort, energy consumption, power supply, and all those things. And you will be able to put all these resources onto something that is going to add value for your organization. So that is also one point. That is nothing but eliminate all the tasks which is not creating value for your organization. Next comes simplify the process and streamline the operation. So if you're actually working on a complex process, just break it down to simple processes so that the employees or the laborers who are actually working in that particular area would be knowing what is to be done. And it will be more simplified for them. And when you're streamlining your operations which are happening, it will be easy for you yourself to analyze, monitor, and also control whatever the things are actually happening in your workstation. So it is always important for you to analyze, right? Only if you're analyzing your operations and monitoring, you will be able to evaluate yourself and you will be able to control your operations, and thereby you'll be able to optimize whatever you're doing in your workstation. So it is always better to have the process streamlined and also to simplify the operations which are taking place in your workstation. Then comes engage a leader to guide the team in the right direction. So a leader is a person who's actually guiding, who's actually leading the particular team, right? So we should be engaging a leader, engaging a right leader. Engaging a leader doesn't mean that you should be putting some person who's actually responsible for all these things happening. It is not like that. You should be making sure that the particular person who is acting as a leader is a well-informed and educated one. He should be actually aware of all the activities that is taking place in that particular workflow. Only then he'll be able to take informed decision. Only then he'll be knowing, he'll be analyzing. The first thing which a leader requires is that he should be in a position to understand what is the problem, how the problem can be addressed, and what is the kind of solutions that we'll be able to bring in. What are the kind of alternatives that we are having? So he should be taking informed decision. So he should be knowledgeable. He should be having experience in the field, and he should be a people person. He should be able to communicate with people, and he should be able to convince the entire team as well. So only then, whenever the team is actually facing any issue, they'll be able to approach this particular leader and they'll be able to resort any solution. So in order for that to happen, in order to guide the team, in order to take right decisions at the right point of time, you should be engaging a leader for your team to understand, monitor, analyze, and also effectively perform in the particular organization as a whole team. And the next one would be document the processes, protocols, and procedures to be followed and make those available to the team. So it is always important to document all your documents, protocols, and procedures and guidelines. So it will be an easy reference for you whenever you need to go through the reference, or whenever you need to study whatever you're doing and how to implement these things in the future, or what are the modifications which are required for you to implement that in the future. So you should be having a documentation. You should be actually making a document for all such activities so that it will be beneficial for you in the future. And you should also make sure that you are making all these things whichever are required. I'm not saying that all the documentations, all the company secrets should be shared with your employees, but whatever is required, whatever the guidelines, whatever the protocols, whatever the procedures which you are laying down, what are your guidelines? And when you are expecting something to be done, or when you're actually expecting your employees to adhere to these guidelines, they should be actually knowing this. That is the first thing that you should be making a note on. So if they need to be following your guidelines, they should be actually having the guidelines. So it's always important and it's always going to be helpful for you if you're actually able to share these documents. I'm not saying that secret documents or private documents which the company is actually holding, but on the procedures, guidelines, protocols, and policies which the companies are following. So it is always better to share that with your employees as well. And employee continuous monitoring and evaluation of the processes carried out. So process management is completely based on that. We should be analyzing, we should be defining, we should be optimizing, monitoring, and controlling each and every activity that has been carried out in your organization. So in order to get that particular thing done, we should be able to analyze, we should be able to evaluate the performance. How well are we doing it right now? And how can it be done in the future? How can we improve? It is all about continuous improvement. So if you're actually making a note on all these things, and if you're able to try to incorporate all these points in your workstation with your process management team, discuss with them, and you can able to implement all these things one by one, it is going to bring in drastic change in the right way, in the good way, so that you'll be able to get benefited out of process management to the maximum. Finally, coming to our last topic for this course on process management. There's just nothing but process management mistakes. It is from mistakes that we learn a lot of things. And the things which we learn from our mistakes, we'll not be forgetting it soon, because the kind of impact that is giving us is huge. So if we learn something on the natural process, we tend to lose that. We tend to forget that. But most probably, when we are learning from mistakes, it's actually something which will stay for a longer period of time. But learning from mistakes, it's actually in a hard way. So if you need to be making all the mistakes and you're learning, it will be time consuming and it will be more on a hard side for you as well. So it is always better to understand what are the mistakes that you can be making, what you will be tending to make in this particular situation. So you can go through case studies, you can understand what are the flaws that can be happening, you can Google it, you can find it from the Indian personalities who is actually into the field, and you can get that from your mentors as well. So it is always better to learn from your mistakes. At the same time, it is even better to know what are the mistakes that you can be making in the future and try not to make that. Try to get away from all those mistakes. So that is exactly what we are planning to cover in this particular module. So the first mistake which I have got here is continuous manufacturing of obsolete products. So what is the need for manufacturing obsolete products when it is actually out of trend, out of demand, and it is actually outdated actually? So in that particular situation, if I'm keeping on manufacturing those products which is of no demand, it is not going to gain you anything but loss. The time, the effort, labors, power supply, and energy, all those things will be going in vain because there is no demand for such products. So you should be actually having all those market research done well hand so that you'll be knowing when to start the production, when to stop the production, when to shift your production line to another product. So all these things can be made possible by only analyzing on the market, knowing the market trend, knowing the market, how's it going, and what are the kind of new features and specification which is being introduced to that particular product. So it should be made possible that you are currently aware of all such things, or else you'll be continuously manufacturing obsolete product which is not going to gain you any benefit at all. Next comes carrying out the process perfectly, but doing things which are really not required at all. So it is always important to maintain quality. That I completely agree with you. But in order to make sure the quality is maintained, you need to be following certain process, certain procedures, and you should be adhering to the guidelines. But which all guidelines should we adhere to actually satisfy the quality requirements? There may be a lot of things that we do thinking that it would be enhancing the quality, but that was not the case at all. Maybe the things which we are doing were not adding any value, as I have mentioned in the previous slides. So only perform which are the activities that you should be performing which is going to create value, or else there is no point at all in particular process. If not, there is no use in implementing such processes. So you should be knowing what is to be done, how it is to be done, when it is to be done, and what are the things which needs to be incorporated in your particular activity, and what are the things that can be eliminated which is not creating any value for the organization. Then comes focusing only on quality and ignoring the pace at which it is implemented. So quality is again important, and it is going to give high value to the company, to the products, to the brand value as well. But at the same time, the pace at which you are manufacturing, the production speed is also a huge importance, because whenever the customers are needing it, requiring it, or demanding for it, you should be in a position to deliver it, or else the demands will be going off. The companies will not be getting more number of transactions because the delay in the manufacturing process, and by that particular point of time, the customers will be moving to another brand and will be using their products. So thereby, you are not able to optimize or utilize the maximum out of the opportunity which you had on that particular demand. So it is always important for you to have an increased production rate, thereby not compromise on the quality as well. So it is always important to focus on quality, but it is also important to get those things done in high quality standards at a faster pace as well. And then comes missing out on opportunities to improve the products, service, and all your process. So it is all about continuous improvement. We should not be in a position thinking that we are perfect, we know everything, we are in the utmost quality, and we are currently in the market as a market leader. That might be the case right now if you are actually performing very well, but that can be shifting once another company brings in a brand new product which offers even more specifications, quality, and also cost effectiveness. If that is the case, you will be running out of business very soon. So in order to avoid that, you should be making sure that you're improving continuously, or you're doing research on your particular product continuously, knowing how to improve on your particular product which you're actually providing right now. What are the things that you can add to your product? How can you add more value to your product, thereby reducing the cost as well, so that people will be happy to buy your product. They'll be even coming back to upgrade on the products which you're actually using. Okay, so these are the various things, various mistakes that you tend to make. So just by keeping away from all these things, you will be able to run efficiently and effectively in your business, and also monitor and analyze and optimize all the things that is being happening in your workstation as well. And finally, here we are, completely done with all the topics that we had planned to cover in this particular course on process management. So we started off by understanding what is a process, and then we moved on to understand what is process management, so that we'll be able to completely understand or clearly understand what is process management. Without knowing what is process, we'll not be able to do that. So that is exactly what we covered in the initial stage of this particular course on process management. Then we went on to understand the importance of following process management in your organization or in whatever business you are actually doing. So let it be any sector, any category, or any domain which you are into, you'll be needing to follow certain processes, certain tasks, responsibilities, or activities that is to be implemented on daily basis. So there we saw regarding the importance of process management. Then we moved on to understand how to implement process management in the right way. So it is all about implementation, right? Just by knowing something, learning something, and actually keeping it to yourself is not worth it. So unless and until you're implementing it, you're applying your knowledge on some practical aspects, only then you will be learning, or only then you will be able to get maximum benefit out of your learning. So that is exactly what we saw on the implementation of process management. Then we went on to understand on the best practices that you can follow to attain or to perform to the best efficiency by following process management, various benefits, advantages, and also on the need for you to follow process management. Then we went on to understand the improvement. How can you improve your process management system? How can you improve your team? How can you continuously improve? It is always about continuous improvement, right? So various improvement and various benefits which you're getting, and on all that aspect we saw how we'll be able to improve, and what if we didn't improve, and what if we are actually in a position like we actually think that we are the market leader, so there is no problem for us and we're actually on top, so there is nothing to be worried of. So what will happen then? So we saw regarding that as well. And finally we went on to understand on the various mistakes that we tend to make by following process management, so that we'll be able to avoid all such situations and we'll be able to learn from those without making your mistakes itself. So it is always better to learn from your mistakes and then move ahead and implement in the right way, change the necessity, incorporate the required changes so that you'll be able to perform better in a much more efficient and effective way possible. So that's all which we have for this particular course on process management. Hope you had a fun and informative session with me, and let's meet with another video. Thank you.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new update or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on this video any queries or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.